This video is for Chapter 7, Section 3. It deals still with hypothesis testing for a single sample. Sigma is unknown, so we're going to use a t-test. Remember, in a t-test, when we do our sample size, which is n, we have to subtract 1 and use degrees of freedom. So in this type of problem, you're going to always have to indicate what the degrees of freedom is by subtracting 1 from the sample size. All right, this problem states a used car dealer says that the mean price of used cars sold in the last 12 months is at least $21,000. So there's his claim. He's saying that the sale of a used car is at least $21,000, which means it's $21,000 or greater. So that means that that's the claim because we got the equal sign. That means the alternative hypothesis becomes less than 21,000. These two inequality signs go together. Reading the rest of the problem, it says you suspect this claim is incorrect. You find that a random sample of 14 used cars, here's our n, sold in the last 12 months has a mean price of $19,189, which is our x bar, standard deviation of 2,950. That standard deviation is a sample standard deviation because it doesn't say it's a population standard deviation. Is there enough evidence to reject the dealer's claim at alpha 0.05? So again, there's our null hypothesis, which the dealer claims that the mean average price was greater than or equal to 21,000. Here's the alternative hypothesis, which is less than 21,000. There's our x bar from the problem. There's our population mean. There's our sample standard deviation, which is S. Sample size, degrees of freedom. And there's our alpha 0.05. So we go to the calculator, and we're going to do a t-test. And when we do the t-test, we're going to come over here. The t-test is located on the calculator as the second item on the menu. So I move down and I hit enter. And so on that, make sure you're on stats. And so I have my population mean at 21,000, my x bar at 19,189. There's my sample standard deviation, 2,950. There's my sample size of 14. The calculator automatically does degrees of freedom, so you don't have to put that in there. And remember, this right here is for the alternative hypothesis. Our alternative hypothesis says less than, so on the calculator we got to make sure it says less than. We can then move down to calculate. I hit enter. You'll see that the calculator gives me a t-value of negative 2.296, a p-value of 0.019. And so if we look at this, if we compare our p-value to our alpha, we can see that p is less than alpha. When p is less than alpha, we reject the null hypothesis. And the null hypothesis was the claim. So p is less than alpha, so we reject the null. There is enough evidence to reject null and not support the claim, because the claim is the null hypothesis.